Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Monday, May 6th. 9:30 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. A major solar flare reaching X4.52 with an R3 radio blackout was detected today around AR3663. The good news is that most of the coronal mass ejection leaving the sun following the X4 solar flare is headed to the north and away from Earth. Keep calm. It's boom time. Central U.S. braces for severe weather as tornadoes spotted in Oklahoma. Live updates here. The links will be below. There will be a tornado outbreak, unfortunately, overnight for the Central Plains, including Oklahoma up into Kansas. Here is the NATO forecast for the time period overnight now till tomorrow. Looking very dangerous. Severe tornadoes expected in the magenta region there. Here is the current tornado watch, valid until 11 p.m. Central Time tomorrow, May 6th. The threat information for these counties: tornadoes, numerous strong tornadoes expected. So heed the warnings and get to safety. Hail, widespread hail up to softball size likely. Wind, scattered gusts up to 75 miles per hour likely. So heed the warnings. The winds have left our neck of the woods, but they're headed to you guys in Oklahoma and Kansas. Buckle up, Buttercup. It's going to get real. Severe storms possible in Arkansas this week, as well as many other regions. Very large hail possible with storms headed for Dallas-Fort Worth. And we'll get to this in just a moment. Severe weather continues in the central U.S. and southern U.S. You can see the watches and warnings out here in yellow. Dangerous severe weather will continue overnight in the nation's heartland with potentially intense tornadoes and very large hail. The threat for severe weather will shift eastward into the Ohio Valley and Mid-South on Tuesday. Further west, on the backside of this large storm system, strong winds and critical fire weather will affect southern and central high plains through midweek. You could see we got blown over today, and I can imagine how windy it was in New Mexico. Click on your county for more information on how to stay safe. The severe weather threat will explode in the next 3 hours. Here we are at the GFS model. It looks like it's going to explode all the way up into Iowa. And so that wasn't in the forecast. It was more down here, and maybe that threat has now moved north. Heed the warnings, as that system will quickly move east, and we're just talking about 3, 6, 9 hours of severe weather through morning. It could be devastating. At the same time, you could see snow falling in the west. Let's take a quick look at the total snowfall. It's going to be significant in the west at these higher elevations. Let's just move this through, and I'll show you what I mean. 3, 6, 9, 10, 12 hours, already over a foot of snow in over 6 states by morning. And that snow will continue through Thursday, Friday, and Saturday in the west. Maybe a little snow in the east. How do you like them apples? Shut up, Al. Get in your hole. Al Gore is very upset it is snowing mid-May. Hey. A historic flood in Brazil is deadly, killing 83 at this point in time, and its president has become shaken and angry. The flooding that slammed into Rio Grande do Sul, one of Brazil's most prosperous states, has deeply alarmed this nation of 215 million as they boat through the streets. The airport is shut down. Dozens of highways have been blocked, mostly in the state capital, are without running water. The death toll is already at 83 and sure to climb higher. And even in a country increasingly injured to natural disasters driven by climate change, the flooding that has swallowed Rio Grande do Sul, one of Brazil's most developed and prosperous states, has badly shaken the nation of 215 million. More than half of the cities in the state now dealing with floodwaters, and 20,000 people left homeless. But I can assure you, this has nothing to do with you or the fake climate change narrative. It has everything to do with the eruption of Hunga Tonga and many volcanoes that have sent moisture into our atmosphere in the last few years. And that volcano Hunga Tonga increased the moisture in our upper atmosphere by over 10%, maybe as much as 12%. Extreme cold leaves thousands without power in Nordic countries as flood persists in Germany. Grand solar minimum much. Extreme cold temperatures, compounded by gale force winds and snow, wreaked havoc across the Nordic regions Thursday, leaving thousands without power, while others braved the cold for hours stuck in their cars along clogged highways. Heavy rains in Germany, France, and the Netherlands again caused floods in the region that have seen persistent flooding in the last 2 weeks. One death reported in France. Seismic update. We have an interesting rumbler up here in Russia, 5.3 in the middle of nowhere. How do you like them apples? Overall, low-level activity worldwide as continued rumbling at Hawaii continues as an eruption there is imminent. Worldwide volcano news. Sabancaya volcano, intermittent emissions to 21,000 feet, looking pretty significant there. Kilauea volcano, the period of seismic unrest has ended, but that doesn't mean that an eruption is not coming. Just another phase, and all that magma has to go somewhere soon. Popo to 19,000, Abeco to 10, Ibu on the list, Reventador, Fuego to 15. Sabancaya puffing to 23. Ubinus on the list for the day. 22,000 feet. Popo to 19. What else do we have here? Santa Guito to 14,000 feet. Reventador. 14,000 foot puff. Fuego to 15. Sabancaya to 24. Looks like increasing eruptive sequence there. And explosive activity continues at Abeco. Tokyo warned about a volcanic ash plume that rose to 10,000 feet. Luotolo puffing to 7,000 today. And Ruang still coming in. Minor volcanic ash emissions to 6,000 feet. And that wraps up worldwide volcano news. Space weather update. A major solar flare reaching X4.52 with an R3 radio blackout was detected around AR 3663 in the northwest quadrant this morning. Let's take a look at the video here of some of that flaring activity. We're going to see here the full breadth of the X4.5 solar flare. And you can see that just a tiny bit of plasma is released right there. That's about it. Mostly radio blackout. Here we can see the plasma better. You see those magnetic field lines roping. And boom, just a small release. Thank you, SolarHam, for the video. Now, coronagraph imagery courtesy of Stereo Ahead shows a small northerly directed CME leaving the sun following the X4 solar flare. But to me, it looks like the biggest coronal mass ejection in the last week or so. We're going to look at that in just a moment as we take a look at the geomagnetic field and aurora forecast. We had that G1 geomagnetic storm 24 hours ago, short-lived. And since then, KP has varied all beneath KP4. Maybe College Station showing geomagnetic storm twice yesterday. But we don't expect much more to come. 3-day geomagnetic forecast is all quiet as another long-duration double M flare just shot off the same active region. No threat there either. As we take a quick look at the telemetry over the last 72 hours, you can see 24 hours ago, the slip of the BZ down here southward, and that kicked off the G1 geomagnetic storm. Since then, the BZ has recovered back into neutral and very little activity except for a slight increase in plasma speed. Nothing else going on. So all is quiet currently on the geomagnetic front. Let's take a look at LASCO C2 over the last 24 hours. And what we're going to see here is all of the data has been uploaded as of this morning. It was missing over the weekend, but it's all there now. Some people on the interwebs are fear-mongering that the satellite might have been taken out. But due to the fact that no coronal mass ejections are headed towards Earth, that is an impossibility. So I don't know where they got that info. As you can see here, we'll speed it up. The last 2 days, multiple CMEs blasting off the sun all away from Earth. Right there was the X flare. That is not the that is an X flare from a day and a half ago as we move through this. This is May 5th. Now we're at the 6th. We're going to see that M4 right there. Boom. X4. Boom. Right there. And so all of the data is now public. As we did have a small sun-diving comet the other day, and I forgot to show you that. It was very unimpressive and very difficult to see. So none of this plasma that we're looking at here is headed towards us, which is good news. Boeing Starliner crew launch attempt scrubbed. Supposed to happen just about now. But the launch attempt was scrubbed shortly before the final countdown because it's Boeing. And they're already 7 years behind, and Elon Musk's SpaceX has brought 50 people up to orbit. Boeing, with the same contract at the same time, 0. Sign of the times. Boeing is about, well, I can't imagine what's happening to their stock price, but Boeing is going down. 2 NASA astronauts had reached the final hours before the long-awaited launch attempt aboard Boeing Starliner capsule, marking the first crewed mission of the new spacecraft in over a decade. But the mission was scrubbed about 2 hours before the countdown clock hit 0 because they didn't want the astronauts to explode live on TV. Well, actually, it was an issue with a valve on the Atlas V rocket, which they've been working on for 7 years, and apparently they didn't check the valve. A workhorse vehicle built by Alabama-based United Launch Alliance that will fire the Starliner capsule into space. So, problems. We say that the rocket business is business of 10 million details, and only when 10 million details are correct does your rocket fly, which is good news for the astronauts that are risking their lives with Boeing, of all companies. Now, scientists have made a chilling discovery after finally reaching the bottom of the Red Sea. Sometimes we're just better off not knowing. Well, none of this is new news. This is a stupid headline, and certainly we've been to the bottom of the Red Sea before. But this, in fact, is a scientific discovery. The Red Sea and the Dead Sea are very similar. They're landlocked, hypersaline areas where weird things happen, including apoxic or anoxic environments. Scientists studying the Red Sea made a chilling discovery when they reached the bottom. Located between Africa and the Arabian Peninsula, because why else would Moses need to cross it to escape from Egypt? Okay, let's get on with it. That's all well and good for the surface, but deep dives and scientists managed to find something called death pools at the bottom of the Red Sea. They are so named as they are devoid of oxygen, meaning any animal which is unlucky enough to venture nearby would be suffocated and killed. Anything which manages to be stunned but not killed will be picked off by opportunistic predators which lurk nearby to feed on the unlucky. That's not to say that there's nothing inside these death pools, which are home to extremophile microbes that can survive down there while little else can. But the unique thing, and this is the breakthrough, is studying death pools can help us understand how life on Earth began and even the potential for life on other planets. Additionally, in these death pools is a pristine record. Ordinarily, in seas like the Red Sea, animals bioturbate or churn up the seabed, eating stuff and redistributing sediments that accumulate there. But not so in these anoxic brine pools. In these pools, any sedimentary layer that settle in the bed of the brine pool remain exquisitely intact with Conservatlagerstaat, which means perfect conservation of the layers. This means researchers are able to use their findings to help learn more about things like tsunamis and earthquakes. The newfound brine pools represent an unbroken record, a stratigraphic record of the past rainfall in the region, stretching back more than 1,000 years, plus records of earthquakes and tsunamis, which we were unaware of. Their findings suggest that at the Red Sea in the past 1,000 years, major floods from serious rain occur at a periodicity about every 25 years. And tsunamis in the Red Sea take place about once every 100 years, which means Well, you probably shouldn't build a house next to the Red Sea. That's just my take. You want to survive and thrive in the future, don't build your house by the Red Sea and buy all heirloom vegetable seeds. So you can seed save and never buy seeds again once you get some of these crops established. If you're looking for a variety of vegetable seeds to grow your own food, you've come to the right place here. Our affiliate, the Alliance of Native Seed Keepers, now with 256 varieties in stock for just $2 per pack. I can assure you, you can't find those prices anywhere on the internet, anywhere. And these are open-pollinated, heirloom, collectible seeds. Not GMOs, not F1 hybrids. Well, there may be a few in here, but the majority of them have been collected for years, generation after generation. Use coupon code ORP2024 for 10% off. Any order over $25, free shipping, and then the seeds essentially become free. Go get them. And before we leave tonight, I wanted to show you the new emergency procedure for Boeing aircraft when the doors blow out. It's fantastic. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video as we are shadow banned. We need your help to grow. Come over and follow us on Twitter, Oppenheimer Ranch Project, at Diamond the Dave, to keep up on all of the funny stuff and important stuff that we share. Hit the thumbs up. It helps with the algorithm. And be safe. We love you. We'll see y'all in 20 days in the desert. Yeah.